Hello Daily Drafters and welcome back to the channel for today's Arena Gauntlet League match. This will close out week 4 here on the channel with match number 20, but will actually begin week 5 of play for me on my end, and you'll see why that is here in a moment. Now, if you're new to the channel here and you stumbled across this video, you can check down in the description and find at the top of it a link to my week 0 introduction to this series. What the Arena Gauntlet League is, how this league functions, all sorts of things like that. And you can check the last, I guess, 19 videos on the channel if you want to get caught up to where we are today in match number 20. Now in match number 20, we're going to be playing the deck you see on your screen here. And for those of you that are in AGL and know what week 5 brings, you can see that I don't have any of the deck restriction cards in here, and if you compare this deck to yesterday's, I also don't have any in there either. Sorry, dealing with a little bit of a cold here. Voice is probably going to crack a lot in this video, but we're going to deal with it. So this is the deck we're running here, a very concise, aggressive black-red deck that has been performing very well so far here in the league. So this is our match number 20 deck, and let's get to the standings. Entering this final match of week 4, we find ourselves sitting in 10th place currently with a record of 14-5. There are many members above us who have played more matches. You can see JM Tron, RRRN22 have all played most of their matches for week 5 here. They're at 16-8, which is at least 5 matches more than I have played. Now, usually these opponents wouldn't be above 20 matches total, but because I told you that I am beginning my week 5 of play, even though you're seeing this at the end of week 4, that's why we have fallen just a little bit. I believe we ended week 4 in 7th place in top 8 position. So we're looking pretty good, and we got to look to continue that here today, beginning week 5, ending week 4 for you. Now, the answer as to why I am entering my week 5 during match number 20 here is because I held one of my matches last week and rolled it over into week 5 because I knew that we as a league were planeswalking to the plane of Bloomborough. Three Tree City, when we arrive on Bloomborough, which is the beginning of this week of play, all comeback packs are from Bloomborough, but more importantly, league decks must contain no humans in its main deck or its sideboard for the entire week of play. Now, my deck doesn't contain any humans. I don't have to make any changes to this. So my thought was, if I roll over one of my matches from last week into this week, hopefully that match could get matched up against someone who does have a large deck building restriction and had to change their deck to what they might consider a suboptimal version of that deck. And we might get a little bit better of a chance for an extra win in there. So that's why I delayed this here. You can see the background of these slides here are all in Bloomborough, and that is where I am beginning my week 5 of play. You'll see it today, and then you'll see all 5 matches next week on the plane of Bloomborough. Today's match will be against PeasofCrab, and as you can see by the record and the rank, now that we're into week 5 here, we're going to be playing against some great opponents, some very good, technically sound, very good decks, good opponents as well. PeasofCrab has a record of 14-7 and is in 16th place in the league. So if they beat us here, they do jump over us in the league standings. Like I said, everybody we play now at this point is going to be good. Started out with 121 members in the league, and at the time of this recording, 70 have been eliminated, and we are down to just 51 left. So all of those are pretty much going to have winning records here at this point. So we're going to have to fight against some good opponents. So without any further ado, enjoy today's match. All right, we start on the draw here. Not always ideal, and we do have both colors of mana, but it's a little slow. I think it's a keep for that reason, which is not great, but, you know, we'll do what we got to do. Go get a red here. And then I guess play a Hungry Ghoul on 2. So they've got a Spectral Sailor here is what it looks like, based on their pool of cards. Blue, black. Okay. All we can do is play the Hungry Ghoul. and try to potentially draw out removal before Krenko. I mean, I'm not going to be using this Hungry Ghoul all that much here, so let's see if we can offer this trade. Finch formation. Another 2/2. Is it worth Burst Lightning one of these things now? Probably so. What do they got? They got Covetous Urge, Evangel of Synthesis as their gold cards that they have access to in blue-black specifically. What other rares and things? Zur Asher, Nine Lives Familiar, High Society Hunter, and Curator of Destinies. Okay, all those are like not great for me, obviously. But, you know, maybe they go for some sort of like counter spell on the Burst Light. And they're not going to counter this though, right? Like, what do they have? Scatter Ray. Artifact or creature unless it pays 4. Essence Scatter, Disdainful Stroke. They got a lot of ways to counter my Krenko here. So, let's see. I might even want to kill the Sailor so they can't draw extra cards. I think I probably would rather kill the Sailor to prevent card draw here. Seems counterintuitive. Let's see if they use some mana to save it and things, which would... Okay, so bring the Sailor back. I guess that was a reason. Fake Hero Death was a reason to do it on my turn there. Hopefully they don't now have Essence Scatter mana as well. That would not be good for me, but let's see if I want to play around that by just playing the Raider here. Oh man, like I said, they have Scatter Ray and Essence Scatter and Disdainful Stroke, so I have a feeling they also have Aetherize. I'll have to keep that in mind. Double Tolarian Terror. Yeah, this deck's gonna be tough. Sure, let's give it a try. Okay, it did resolve. See if it actually survives now. Jeez. Again, sorry about the voice and things. It is, I'm on the struggle bus right now. All right, there's the Uncharted move. I think we've got to keep it on top. I mean, that only makes sense here. Play it again. Did they put the card in the yard? No, they didn't, which means it's very likely a land here. I would like to resolve this, so let's go ahead and play it. There's the land. What else you got? Okay. Are we going to be dead before any of this matters is the question. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we do have double stab we could flip, but we have a swamp in hand if we flip a stab here that we want to play. The employment is interesting. It helps us push a little bit more damage. So does the onslaught. The employment basically says, like, you can't play a big creature next turn. Otherwise, I'm just going to steal it. Even though they know that's coming, I think that's probably fine. One, two. They could play Tolarian Terror if they draw a land, in which case I'd probably want to play this to be able to pay the ward. I don't want them to be able to pilfer. If they pilfer, they're going to get this anyway, right? So let's just play the land in the turn here. And so they can't kill the Krenko in response. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. I mean, they could play a big creature. I could just steal it. They could chump. I mean, if they have like High Society Hunter or something, me stealing it may not actually do that much. This barge in could get interesting here. What does Covetous Urge do? Reveals my hand, non-land card. Okay, down goes Crank. It looks like they top decked the removal for it. Okay, go ahead and steal that and attack all. Okay, go to 3. Not dead. 3 is not 0. They do have food, so they're effectively at 6. 9 lies familiar. Well, that's good if we have something like Hungry Ghoul or Vengeful Blood Thief on the battlefield, but we don't. So I think here they're probably just going to sack... Well, they can't really sack the food if I attack with both of these. They basically going to, like, block here and there or something. So what if I attack with both, they block here and then block there and sack it to the raider, or sack it to the ghoul, and then this dies and that dies. So I basically force this trait here. There are no stabs in their pool here. I'm wondering if attacking with the goblin is at all worth it here. I mean, like I said, they're kind of at like 6 life, so I don't know. I'd rather probably save this trigger for a Blood Thief or a Vengeful Bloodlord or whatever if I get that down. So I think I'm going to attack with the Ghoul and the Raider here. Let's see what they've got. Okay, nothing. Okay, so just double trade, sure. Have Essence Scatter, maybe? Did they draw the counter? Yep, they did draw the counter. Like I said, 3 is not 0. A top decked, what's it called? Yeah, that's a card. That's also decent, depending on if they have removal or not. I mean, like I said, we're dead in 2 turns, though, to this Blood Thief, so we get 1 more turn next turn because they have a food over here, and if they kill this Gourmand, then we just lose here. It was a very timely top deck with the bacon the pie, but that all makes sense. There's the pilfer. All right, what could we draw? We get kind of 2 draw steps if they let us attack with the Gourmand here. That doesn't do anything, so we have to attack here, sack this. That also doesn't do anything, unfortunately. Assuming they choose to attack with both, which I'm sure they will. 3 and 3 still kills me here. All right, didn't have anything in hand. Okay. Blue-black control. I just haven't really had great sideboarding options most of this league so far. I think Aeronaut's Wings might be worse against them, considering they've got Sailors and Finches. So maybe bringing in the Katana and taking out the Wings and potentially Power Stone Fracture is always something I look at for extra removal. The Onslaught doesn't seem great with all their counters and stuff. I don't know how wide I'm going to be going. So maybe like taking that out for a Power Stone Fracture seems okay. And then giving this a try potentially. Let's try that. Yeah, it's a tough matchup. These decks are good, and the later we get in the league, the better the players are too. The better the chance that we match up against a very good player, which is what I've always been worried about getting this late in the league. I mean, I've done as well as I have so far, but as you've seen in these standings updates for each of these videos, my opponent match win percentage, tiebreaker, is very, very low. So, you know, playing matches against these good players is also gonna help get that up, but if we lose, it doesn't matter. So, we will see what we can do against blue-black control here. Do get to be on the play this time, which is always nice. Maybe I should have killed that Finch formation earlier in the game, but, I mean, once we got them to 3, we drew the Gourmand, but, like, that was it. And that food, I mean, they killed our best creature and gained 3 life off of it, which was just a brutal beat for us, so. That was a tough one. They are potentially siding into some sort of other deck here. This has taken them quite a long time. I can't imagine that they're just like thinking about exactly what they want to do blue-black wise. My guess is they might be siding into like red-green or something. Gosh, I cannot speak without my voice cracking, and it is ridiculous. So thank you for dealing with it. Got to get these matches out. Got to play them early. They've got a couple of black-white cards, a Fiendish Panda, Giada, Erebo, Banishing Light. Yeah, there's some good cards here. They have options, and I'm assuming they're just siding into something entirely different than blue-black now, if I had to guess, considering how long it's taking them. All right, here we go. We will go first. Yeah, it's pretty good. I guess we'll keep. The question is, what do we lead on here? I think I'm actually going to lead on the Goblin, because then next turn I could play the Ghoul and attack and use this if they have a 1-drop, which they don't. So now do I play Blood Witch or Ghoul? Mana efficiency says Blood Witch, so now Stuck on black mana right now. Yeah, there's the black-white, so I expected them to go into something else here. So let's go this, this, and then attack, make it unblockable. Or make it unable to block, I mean. Hopefully there's not a ton of life gain in that deck. I mean, I imagine that siding into it means there probably is. There is a Fiendish Panda. There's a Furia's Retribution, which is like a saga that makes a 4/4 and gives angels double strike and stuff. If only this were... I mean, I would love a swamp right now. I was going to say, if only that were an instant. But a swamp would let me cast 9 Lives Familiar and make the Plunderer unable to block. As it currently stands, I could make the Plunderer unable to block and then also Reeve's Soul the Valkyrie, which might be worth it. Probably is worth it, considering I'm getting stuck now. Yeah, at 11, missing land drops. Can't cast anything in my hand. It's going to be tough. These have hexproof? No, prevent other non-combat damage. Okay, so now we're just kind of stuck. Can't really attack at all. I mean, I could attack with a Diregraph Ghoul, but that's it. And they have hexproof. So this Fanatical Firebrand is doing like stone cold nothing at this point. So let's attack here. Sure. Can't do anything about that. Play this and pass it back. And now this Firebrand is just kind of staring. That, of course, has Vigilance. Here comes a 4/4 flyer. That is now a 5/5 flyer. And, yeah, this is going to make life very difficult. Yeah, that doesn't do basically anything for me here. Yeah. So what if I attack and make the Sarah Angel unable to block? They eat this. They take 2, 3, 4 down to 7. Down to 6 because this died. And then the Searing Barrage puts them at kind of like 3. 2-1 because of the Firebrand once I can kill that. I mean, if I just sit here, I'm going to die in like 2 turns. So I think I'm just going to... They might actually eat the Firebrand. No, they would definitely eat the Frenzied Goblin, right? Oh, the Blood Witch. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I hadn't really considered that. Not to mention, it doesn't actually deal anything because it has target opponent. So, yeah, that's got lifelink. Man, I feel like every week there's one of these matches where we just stand like no chance. Like, we done so well. We did 5-0, 4-1, 3-1, but the 2 matches we lost in there, like we stood absolutely no chance whatsoever. I mean, Yeah, really nothing else I can do. So, nice sideboarding plan by them, getting into some lifelinkers and some hexproofers. Definitely great play over there. And there's the High Society Hunter, and I've really got nothing at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sure, whatever. Go to 10. Searing Barrage, but I can't pay for this and for that, so yeah, that'll do it. Got nothing else here. That was I feel like every loss we've had has just been completely unwinnable. Like, the hand wasn't great. We had that stupid cat sitting there forever. We didn't draw any of our kind of glue cards for the deck, and then we got hosed by the sideboarding plan. So good games over there, PeasofCrab, and now we're gonna have to fight back from an 0-1 to start the week. Okay, and that loss drops us down from 10th to 15th place. I said if PeasofCrab beat us, they would jump us, and they in fact took our spot in 10th. And we fell all the way down to 15th. Good news is we have a few losses between us and like 16, 17, 18. So if we are to rack up a bit of a losing streak, we won't fall too far. But, you know, the magic number I think is going to end up being 21-9. So I think we need to go about 7-3 from here to the end. As well as the league has gone, that's how hard it is to make top 8 in this league. We're gonna need some help. And hopefully this Bloomborough comeback pack that's coming up here next will give us just that. And it actually kind of does. I mean, we lucked out with the rare here. We got a Darkstar Augur going right into the deck. 3 mana, 2/3 with Offspring, has flying, and then can also draw cards for you. We got a Brazen Collector, 2 mana, 2/1 first strike. And when it attacks, you get red mana. That's great. Steampath Charger, a little bit of ping damage. We've got some removal in early winter. This is going to be a pretty interesting pack to add to our pool, and I think it's actually going to actively improve our deck here going forward. Now with a record of 14-6, we're going to need a little bit more help, and this is the help I think we're looking to get. So here's our current version of the deck with our comeback pack here on the side of all the cards we could consider adding to this deck out of it here. And I think the first thing I'll do is Sazakap's Brew. I don't think is something we want. Kindlespark Duo, also for sure something we don't want. And the Junkblade Bruiser, just a little bit too expensive for what we're looking for, I think. So, question becomes, well, Darkstar Augur isn't a question. This is obviously great for us. Brazen Collector, a great 2-drop for us as well. Steampath Charger, I think also pretty good. I mean, it seems fine. A 2 mana 2/1 that when it dies deals 1 damage to something. We have Sacrifice as well. It could also kick it if we draw it late. And then Early Winter as a potential replacement for any of the removal spells that we've got. So now that we are here, I think I'm actually going to take out the Mishra's Onslaught. Every time I've drawn it, it hasn't really done what I wanted it to do. And also the Aeronaut's Wings. I don't think we need that kind of push. Just extra creatures are going to help here. Has the Blast Runner been good? Not particularly. I think it's just another 1-drop in case we go 1-drop into 2-drop Goblin, which is great. It hasn't really done what I wanted it to do necessarily, so I think I could probably throw that into the sideboard. And then, you know, Early Winter, Overwhelming Remorse, Incinerating Blast, and Searing Barrage. I just don't think all of these are necessary. I think I'm going to keep the Instant Speed Early Winter over the Incinerating Blast. And I think this is probably what I'm going to look to run. So we got a decent comeback pack there to help our deck out with a couple more good 2-drops, a great 3-drop, and another removal spell. So not too unhappy with that. But if we run up against decks like we did today, it's going to be tough. Got to make sure we get some good matchups here going forward. Not that we can really have much control over that. So, thanks for tuning in today, and I'll see you next week, for your Arena Gauntlet League match.